cheat on your wife? My feet are so much more beautiful than your wife's face. Would you do this for me instead of doing it for your wife? Send this money for my gifts, for my manicure, and she will get nothing. Today we're going to talk about such interesting fetish as homewrecking. But not just that. I want to talk about the whole shift in this fin-dom, fem-dom community. Nowadays, such things as homewrecking, I already kind of explained what it means. Then Dommewrecking, which is very similar, but just refers to your dom who you're serving, and instead of serving your dom, you will serve this particular one who is online currently, and you accidentally found her page, and she will corrupt your imagination and she will inflame your mind. And your dom is obviously so much worse than her, so you're gonna send the money to this new dom, and your dom, well, she will get nothing. Or maybe she will be pissed. Maybe she will not find out. It's gonna be your little secret with this other dom. Also, hunting lurkers. It's when a dom sees that some sub likes her tweets but doesn't say anything, doesn't send her money, and she texts him first. So it's also about doms initiating the contact with subs. You can call it evolution, you can call it disgusting, you can call it regression. It doesn't really matter, because my goal here is just to describe what's happening in this community. It's a big shift, because we are going from the image of this ice queen whose attention you are supposed to earn, and you can be like a passive scroller or a passive lurker. I don't really like this word, but it's up to you to get her attention. Now the tendency is different. Now the dom takes a different role. And this shift happens because of like a few forces joined together. First of all, that's the digital dynamics. I think lots of things in the kink world changed during COVID. All of a sudden people realized that they don't really need to go to the dungeon anymore in order to experience certain things, in order to feel on the edge, in order to feel the danger and all these interesting feelings. So another thing is, of course, shifting gender norms. We will talk about it. Also commercial incentives. And one more important reason is the feedback loops from this very special internet, let's say, subcultures, men who consume the content, and their preferences have changed. Let's talk about the digital space first. Digital platforms reward attention maximizing behavior. So basically, in this space, now being a dom means being on Twitter, being on Instagram, on Reddit, Discord, and whatever platforms I don't know about, but it all happens online. You advertise yourself online. And in order to advertise yourself, in order to stand out, because there are way too many doms right now, everyone found out about fin-dom. Everyone knows what it means. So it's much harder to surprise people with this word, or with just the fact that some random man on the internet pay you money. Everyone knows about such thing as selling feed. But, well, it's very common, everyone has feed. Anyone can create an OnlyFans account. It's a very similar thing that happened to OnlyFans, because initially people thought, oh wow, that's so ethical, that's just ethical porn, and we pay to creators directly. But then, in order to stand out in this world, you have to do something extreme. You have to push your boundaries, probably even more than you would do it in a like regular porn movie. Here it's very similar. Visibility and engagement are the actual currency. And that's why it leads to more aggressive behavior. That's why it leads to something that's gonna be, well, so striking, so unusual, so taboo. When you just scroll, it all becomes the same, and then you see a post that says something about homewrecking, Dommewrecking, yeah, something about, well, that goes against everyone's morals. Of course, it's gonna catch your attention. Plus, this is the reversal of the traditional Dom image. Because we could imagine a Dom as someone who is unapproachable, yeah, or you're supposed to make an effort to get her attention. And now it's different. Then, of course, that's the reversal of the whole Dom image, because we used to see a Dom who approaches subs first as someone like out of character, but now it's a marketing tactic. That's just like a signaling of power and confidence. It flips expectations, and of course it just increases the sexual allure. And then of course lurker hunting. I think it's based on the FOMO, fear of missing out effect. So you catch someone who just watches you silently, you call him out, you catch him, yeah? And he feels like, well, he's exposed right now. It's not in silence anymore. Not everyone likes it, but for most of them, it increases the rush, it increases the desire, and often that increases the payment. I can't tell you because I've never done it. It's not really my thing, but I'm changing my opinion about it. Not just changing the opinion, but, you know, I think I'm becoming like less rigid in my views. I don't want to be limited by anything. Because as you see me like 3-4 years ago when I just started this thing, it's not the same me as today. Maybe something stays the same, yeah, but we are evolving, and maybe sometimes you think that it's not an evolution. Still, I believe that this is normal when you can see things from different perspectives and you can just see what's working. Because even if it's sad for me to say that, but the best strategy, the best tactic is not something that based on the quality of product, the quality of service, the quality of you as a person, the like how authentic you are. Nowadays, it's all based on the package, how it's sold. I can't say that I can't like definitely refer to that I can like easily implement this, but as you know, I like to analyze things and I find it pretty interesting, and maybe my information would be, well, anyhow beneficial, not only for subs, but for new DOMs. Then the reason number 2, cultural shift in how dominance and submission and also masculinity and femininity are perceived and performed. Because now a Dom is not some ice queen. I mean, still is, yeah. There are different images of Doms. They're like, they can be different. It can be so diverse, but we can definitely see the shift, and we can definitely see what attracts this man and how women act. Currently in media and just like in whole online discourse, you can see that women and femininity are more welcome to express aggression. It's not only about femdom, like it's pretty much everywhere, because we used to see, like, for example, men's assertiveness as like a quality of leadership, and when a woman acted in the same way, it would be called aggression or hysteria, and now we can see that it's also changing. Now a woman who, well, shows power, shows assertiveness, is, well, we see it as something good. So if before some DOMs archetypes included this queen, goddess, mummy, seductress, yeah, I think these are like the main archetypes, and also like the authoritarian or like someone who punishes you. It also changes, you see? We also observe brats, which is, I'm not a kink expert. Yeah, I just like give my amateur opinions, let's say. But even like I saw that some people discussed that, oh, a brat can only be a sub. Like what the hell is this bratty dom? And now we see this image of a bratty dom, which is very popular. And yeah, men like it. Men like bratty doms. There are predators, there are chaotic doms. You can see it from different perspectives. Maybe it has become more nuanced. Or maybe it's just more simple. Because BDSM rules, BDSM kind of femdom, is stepping away, whether you like it or not. And I'm not saying it like you old school doms who just like, there is no place for you in this world. But I feel really sad for that part of the world. There are still lots of people who appreciate real dynamics, also real interactions, yeah, dom-sub connections, but it's changing. And now kink and dom-sub dynamics are perceived as something not based on certain rules, consent and safety, but something that sells. And here we're gonna talk about reason number 3, yeah, the commercial part of kink. You have to understand that nowadays the kink dynamic is altered. It's not the same as it used to be. Basically, there are 2 main things: financial domination and femdom based on clips, based on content. And in order to sell that, you have to be rapid. Your approach has to be aggressive. Hence, we see all this things like homewrecking, dommewrecking, lurker hunting, yeah, and things like that. Even if doms on the internet say, oh, we're not competitors, we're a community, we're happy for each other, it's still a competition. Everyone competes, even if it looks like the community. But also that's the sort of marketing of the community. We have to present ourselves as, well, a group of women who support each other, you know, like it's like as if like women against men. And then on the contrast with this group, there would be someone who would be like, cheat on your dom. I'm not like others, okay? I don't care about this. Don't take it personally. Yeah, that's the thing. When a woman says such things, and especially, I would say that this mostly refers to Gen Z doms. When they say these things, don't take it personally. It doesn't really matter what they say, because their purpose is to sell their dominant style. Like, that's the only reason. There is no deep reasons behind that. Maybe we could think that, oh, maybe they genuinely want to feel chosen. Well, I'm not sure, you know. Initially, I thought that that was the case, but I think this is a very different generation. I think that maybe the underlying reasons are not as deep as we might think. Dominant style can be just based on what men want, on something that actually works. It's a tailored persona. It's just an image that you create. Maybe you get attached to it. Maybe you can divide, okay, this is me as a dom, this is me in real life. I don't know. But at the same time, it does not mean that it's fake, okay? The only concern, or maybe not a concern, but I'm just describing the reality of what's happening, yeah? It just blurs the line between kink and content. The way your dom acts is shaped by algorithms and revenue models. And now let's talk about my favorite reason. Submissive men. Or maybe not just submissive men, but men in general, because what happens within this fem-dom area is just a little part of a broader spectrum of the whole change of male-female dynamics. And what men want, like overall, has changed. It's also connected with the digital era, of course, yeah, and the exhausted dopamine system of everyone, but especially men. Because men are way too spoiled with content nowadays. If you scroll non-stop, if you consume like way too much content every day, you just become desensitized. You're like more experienced in this weird online way. There is a fetish buffet. You can afford, even with no money, you can still see basically whatever you want. And your brain craves more. The only way to stop it is actually to stop it. But you're not ready for that, yeah? You will share whatever stories. You will tell me that that's just a trauma response. I tried therapy. You know, it's really funny for me when grown men believe in their own delusions, believe in their own excuses. This is just a classic model of man's mind. And I started realizing that men are more, well, they're more like programs rather than humans with self-awareness. It's so rare to meet a man with, like, who's actually self-aware. Because he can see himself in this way, but there is like this thick prism that is an obstacle to see his like actual character, to see his actual personality, what's he's actually like. Because he's never bad. Yeah, a submissive man is a noble man who only wants a real sort of dynamic. He doesn't know what's going on. It's an addiction. That's something so much more powerful than him. And if you think that, oh, maybe if he had a dominant wife who would just order him around or who would control his wallet, he wouldn't be doing these things with these girls online. That's not true. Because there are cases when men actually like dated dominant women who were also into findom, and they would still cheat on them with other doms, and in this case cheating would be sending money to someone else. There are so many men who live in this delusion that, oh my god, I wish my wife was dominant. That's the most frequent question that I get asked on Instagram and wherever. How do I encourage my wife to dominate me? And these girls, hopefully it's just a marketing strategy. Yeah, hopefully it's not real, but their tweets are like, oh yeah, she doesn't understand you the way I do. I can hold this sacred space for you, which she can't because she can't understand your desires, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I can imagine that there can be some cases like this when wives just ignore this part of their man. They probably know about it, but they prefer not to notice that. Yeah, they don't want to live with a submissive man. They want a man to be dominant and blah, 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 this everything. But I think that most men are seeking for a thrill, not for some stability with their dominant wife. It's so funny, honestly. Like, you talk to a grown man and the things that he says, even if he's like super smart, he has a successful business, he's, I don't know, he's 40s. But the things that he says, like, yeah, I'm not really satisfied, and that's why I seek this, well, doms who would wreck me, yeah, to play this fantasy. And then they believe, like truly believe, that whatever some 20-year-old girl said to him in her hypnotic voice would have some effect on him. I'm so scared that it might affect my relationship with my wife. Maybe I wouldn't be able to get intimate with my wife anymore because this goddess said something to me. No comments. Some of these men do not seek any help. Some of these men go for therapy and also get addicted to therapy, which is ridiculous. They really think that therapy can fix that. That really depends on the therapist, but now from my perspective, therapy can actually slow you down, but would give you the impression of self-work. And another reason, yeah, when we talk about men are little princesses right now. They want to be chased. If we talk about just findom, this man would never get so much attention from women if not for money they send. That's like the only way to receive attention. And this is sad, but that's the reality. When a man sends money to a dom and tells her that, like, I have a wife and blah, 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 she's not as good as you, or maybe he just repeats the same phrases that his dom says to him, he likes being chased. Nowadays, men like attention from women. This is what they crave. Attention is actual gold right now, because no one really cares for each other. We all live like in our separate cells, just using our phone. We don't interact with other people. Yeah, we don't have a community, and we definitely are starving for attention, for someone to listen to us, because this is so rare that someone will just look at you and, I don't know, listen to you and want you for who you are. This is really precious, and this can't be built like this. And when you lack social skills, yeah, when you lack emotional intelligence, you have to use this, well, interesting ways. I had a theory that your psyche would find the easiest way to satisfy the need. And in men's case, it would link it to the sexual urge, because sexual urge is the first urge. It's probably more important for men than food. And that's why they would seek to cover it, yeah, but it's not gonna be covered, the actual need. It's not gonna be covered through sexuality, through all these activities, because what you want is actually deeper. But you will do it non-stop if you have zero self-control, or, well, close to zero. And again, the exhausted dopamine system. But only imagine what a man like this feels when there is his wife who wants his attention, and when there is like some other girl texting him, me, not your wife, me. Where else would you get that? She's not your lover. She doesn't really care about you. Yeah, she only wants your money. But the way it makes you feel, oh my God, that's exactly what you need. To be wanted, oh my God, poor you. Most cases, the type of kink promotion that you see, it has nothing to do with complex power dynamics. It has nothing to do with self-exploration. Yeah, it has nothing to do with, well, a play with a person who truly cares about you, how it's supposed to be like initially. It's more about kink clickbait, views, visibility. It's based on fetishized tropes. It leads to more addiction, parasocial relationship, unhealthy relationship. It leads to codependency. And here, I'm not gonna criticize women, because I don't think that women are more responsible for this than men. This common fact that men often realize some certain things when they're in their 40s, 50s, the same things that girls realize when they were children. That women can see it all. Like, we see what you are, and women are just playing all your weaknesses. We are using your weaknesses against you. And it's not because you are so innocent. Oh my God, women are just actual drug dealers. I just love how men put this responsibility on women. When I was a child, my favorite book was Notre Dame de Paris. Obviously not the whole book. Yeah, it was an interpretation, an adaptation for kids. It had beautiful pictures. So that was about the gypsy Esmeralda. He fell in love with her, but it wasn't love, of course, it was lust. He wanted her. And when she rejected him, he ordered her death sentence. So she was killed. And since then, I just knew that, well, there's this interesting dynamic that's going on, that men never accept what they are. They either present their love and lust for you as something noble, like, you are the only one I want. I only want to serve you. And then if it doesn't work, they will never admit their fault. My only fault is that I loved you too much. I'm a fool. You fooled me, witch. It doesn't change. It's all the same. It's happening nowadays too. You can form your own opinion. Whether it's something good or not, whether it's just stepping back on the evolutionary ladder, whether it's just becoming more performative with no substance, or maybe it's just getting more pluralistic and more diverse. And that's it for today, and a reminder for all the men who slide into my DM, it's not free. My initial tribute is still 100 plus. It's not free to talk to me. I know life is unfair, and I wish you well, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.